everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I will be wrapping up what I read in August and in September. I didn't do a wrap up in August because I didn't feel like I had read enough to warrant doing a whole video and I was busy. So let's just wrap up both of the months together. In total, between the 2 months, I read I think about 15 books. I think 8 of those were very short novellas, but I feel like I'm finally on the other end of this reading slump. So let's look at what I read in the months of August and September. So first off, I read Ice Planet Barbarians number 3, which is Barbarian Lover by Ruby Dixon. I really liked this one in that I liked the sci-fi element to it. Obviously there's a sci-fi element in all of these books, but it really focused on the spaceship that is what they call like the Ancients Cave or whatever. I really liked getting to explore that a little bit, and I liked the characters, and it was a fun read. I like Ruby Dixon a lot. I'm really enjoying her books, and I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I finished Wraith by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I didn't hate this, but I didn't particularly like it either, which was kind of annoying or upsetting because I had really high expectations for it because it was a nanny romance, which I just thought I would really like. And I liked the characters and I liked the setup. It just felt very rushed, and so the ending was just very abrupt and didn't really make sense for the characters, and it just was very rushed, so I didn't really like it in the end, but I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I discovered the wonderfulness that is Lana Dash, and I started reading her series, The Nice Girls Naughty Book Club. I started with the first one, obviously, and that is Quinn, and hers follows, there's no like summaries on here, so I can't remember every single character at this point, but they're all novellas. They're in my reading vlog. They're all so much fun. I will give you the general premise of the series in that this is a group of girls who were in another romance book club, and they suggested, what if we read, you know, like a smutty romance? And the lady in charge was like, no, if you do that, you're gross, blah blah blah. So they're like, you know what, we're gonna make our own romance book club where we only read smutty romance books, and then each girl gets a love story that sort of reflects the book of the week. So it starts with Quinn. It was a lot of fun. I love all these series. I think I gave them almost all 5 stars. I would give you like a rundown of the story, but it doesn't have the summary on Goodreads, so I can't remember like who is who, and I didn't write reviews because I'm lazy and I never write reviews. Next, I read Fiona, which I also gave a 5 stars. I don't know why there's not like actual summaries of the books on Goodreads, so whatever. I gave that 5 stars. Courtney, is book number 4. I don't know why Goodreads flipped them. I read Jess next, actually, which is number 3, gave that a 5 stars. And then Courtney is number 4. I gave that one a 4 stars. This one has a summary. This is one where she meets the author of the romance book that they're reading, but he writes under the pen name of a woman, so she's very surprised to find out that it's actually him who writes the books, and it was very cute. I liked it. And then number 5 is Michelle. I think this was a neighbor romance, and I enjoyed this one as well, gave it a 4 stars. And then number 6 is Lily. I think this one was like she was asked to dress up as a comic book character for this group because they needed someone to play the girl in the superhero group, and she was like fine and did the cosplay contest with them, and then she meets the owner of the comic book store, which was fantastic. And then lastly is Charlotte, and I think this was the male stripper one. She falls for a male stripper, so there was a lot of fun. I gave it a 5 stars. Next, So that was the majority of my reading for the last 2 months, were these 8 novellas. But next on the list, I read Doctor Who Blackout. It is one of the BBC audiobooks. It was written by Ollie Smith, narrated by Stuart Mulligan. I enjoyed this one. It's a very short, like hour-and-a-half audiobook. It was a lot of fun. I've been rewatching Doctor Who lately, so I was just looking for another story. This was the 11th Doctor, Amy and Rory, and it was a lot of fun. It was in New York, I believe, and there was this alien that was trying to like rain this like evil rain acid stuff. I'm gonna be completely honest, I think I fell asleep for part of it, but it is what it is. This takes place just after the Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon thing, so at this point I think Amy would have technically been the living flesh stuff. I'm not sure, but it was fun, and I liked the narrator, and I just like the 11th Doctor a lot. So I found out my library had added a bunch of these Doctor Who audiobooks, so I'm hoping to listen to a lot more of these. Next, another novella is Christmas Chemistry by Ella Good, and I enjoyed this one quite a lot. I have been meaning to read a book by Ella Good for a while, and I'm pretty sure this is my first one. I wasn't going to pick this up because I was really enjoying the 40-page novellas. I'm like, this is where my attention span is, this is working for me. But I ended up picking this one up even though it was a little bit longer, like 150 pages. And I really did enjoy it though. It was a good workplace romance. I was brought in by the summary of the book. So he is the PhD doing, I don't know, science, and she is a grad student who comes in to work under him as an assistant, but also getting like grad student credit. I don't know how any of this works, but and I don't know what they do. I don't know if it was, I mean, chemistry is in the title, so maybe something with chemistry, but I barely passed that class, so couldn't tell you. And everyone, he has the reputation of hating all of his assistants and not getting along with anyone. I think he might have been like on the spectrum. That was the vibe I got. He just liked his things in a particular way and didn't really always understand other people's emotions. He, you know, interpreted things in a different way. It wasn't particularly stated in that way, but that's the vibe I got. Very, it reminded me of Stella in The Kiss Quotient. But he sees her when she walks in, and he like instantly falls in love with her and is like very attracted to her, and then she's like, the more he spends time with her, he starts to really fall in love with her too, and they choose to just like get away for a weekend. They're like, we'll just get it out of our system, we both know that we're both attracted to each other, we'll just get it out of our system and we'll go back to work and it'll be fine and nothing will change. But the weekend was not enough. So it is just a lot of fun. I thought it was a really cute book. Great little Christmas vibes. Is August too early to be reading a Christmas book? I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. Next, after, I kid you not, I think 6 weeks or even more, I finished Gods and Monsters by Shelby Maherin. I don't even know what to say, because it was incredible. It was. It killed me though. It was absolutely devastating. A really, really good end. I liked how everything was brought together in the end, and big battles and explosions and, you know, fire, blah, blah, blah. Really great. But it broke me. It was so sad. The ending was like, it was happy, but it was sad. It was happy sad. And I am still thinking about it. I would love a little like Kindle novella of post-epilogue Lou and Reed. I need just a little bit more. I feel like we didn't get just quite enough happiness times for them in this one. Like the first book, there's not a lot of happiness because he's finding out she's a witch and blah blah blah. The second book probably has the most happiness until bad stuff happens, which, remember when I read Blood and Honey in a vlog, I was like, if they don't resolve this in the third one, I'm gonna lose my mind. While I would have preferred it resolved in like a more supernaturally way, if you get my vibe, I did like the way it was resolved in the third book. I can't remember the last time a book made me cry like this. Like, this year, I'm not sure a book has made me cry like this, other than maybe Blood and Honey. So just Shelby Maherin's making me cry this year. So I'll be sending her my therapy bill. Anyway, I loved it. I loved it. It was perfect. It was so good. It took me a long time, but that was of no fault of the book. I think I just have to lay off fantasies for a while. It's just not what I have the attention span for right now. But it was so good, and I'm sad that it's over. Anyway, I give it a 5 stars in case it's not obvious. Next, I read Doctor Who, The 11th Doctor, Volume 1, Afterlife. This is a comic book. In case you can't tell, I'm hyperfixating on Doctor Who right now. This is a comic book following the 11th Doctor and a new companion whose name escapes me. But she was really cool. She is a little bit older than most of the companions we've seen. She was, I think, 42 or something. Most companions we have are, 22. And she is a librarian assistant, and she just lost her mother, and so she's dealing with that grief. And this grief is what brings this alien dog thing to her, because this alien dog is attracted to grief in that it follows that and like eats grief energy. Doctor Who. So much for one take because my camera cut me off. Anyway, I don't know where it cut me off, but the Doctor Who comic book is really great. I really like this companion because she's very like face life head on rather than run away from your problems like most of our companions are, and how the Doctor is most of the time. So I really enjoyed it. The art style is great, and I think the reason I'm liking the rating so much is it's actually Al Ewing, which I need to figure out how to say his name, but he's written most of my favorite comic books for Marvel, so I'm very, very much enjoying it. I don't know if he doesn't illustrate. No, Simon Fraser's illustrating. Al Ewing is the writer, and I think that's probably why I like the characters so much in this book. Next, I read 2 books by Elle Kennedy that I love them so much I can't even explain to you. It is The Deal and The Mistake. I have to sneeze. Anyway, The Deal and The Mistake are the first 2 that I've read. I'm currently reading the 3rd one. I love these books. I love them. The Deal, I think I'm going to buy a physical copy to have on my shelf because it has all of my favorite tropes, and it's just so much fun, and these characters were so good. And like, you want to talk about like not enemies to lovers, but like hate to love kind of thing. This is it. They are hilariously, like, the animosity between them in the beginning, and then they become friends, and then the trope of like, I don't like you, I just am trying to prove something, blah blah blah. Beautiful. Fantastic. The steamy scenes in this book. I don't know what Elle Kennedy, like where she gets her talent, but fantastic. Love them. 5 stars. Hannah and Garrett have a very special place in my heart now, and I love them so much. And then I read The Mistake, which is the next one. Enjoyed this one a lot as well. It is Logan and Grace. This one, the only thing that I found weird was the timing of it. It takes place over a much longer amount of time than The Deal did, but it makes sense. It had to work like that. He meets her in her freshman year. They have 2 nights, and it's weird and awkward, and he runs out and freaks out. And she's really mad at him, rightfully so. And then she goes to Paris to visit her mom for the summer, comes back, and she's like, it's not gonna bother me anymore, I don't care about him, blah blah blah. But this whole time he's been fixating. He's like, wait, I actually really like her, I want her back. And so he goes through all these hoops to try and win her back, and it's really, really cute. I like it. There was a lot of emotional development for him, which was really hard to read on my part, but I really did enjoy it, and I appreciate the writing. I will say, I didn't, for the first one, trigger warning for sexual assault. For the second one, trigger warning for addiction, which is usually one that I try to avoid, and I didn't know it was going to be in here when I started the book. But I kind of just skimmed some of the parts that I couldn't read. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed these books, and I love Elle Kennedy, and I will be reading everything she's ever written now, because that's all I want to read. I don't even care about hockey. I've never seen a hockey game in my life, but these boys, They're hockey players and I love them. And suddenly I'm a hockey fan. Does this make me a hockey fan? I don't know. But that is what I read in the months of August and September. Definitely slowed down quite a lot when it came to reading. But I think my reading slump is done. I think the goal is to just pick up books that I'm actually interested in, and I think stay away from fantasy for just a little bit because I just don't think I have the attention span right now. I also am listening to an audiobook, but the more I think about it, I think I'm just DNFing it because I like it, but I just am not reading it. So I just need to pick up stuff that I know I like and will read. So I do not fall into the hole of reading slumps again. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I upload every Sunday. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.